Yeah.
There we
Hello.
go.
Can you hear me? Well,
Yeah, can you hear me
yes, I
okay?
can hear you. Okay. So welcome to Thelma's podcast. First of all, how are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Great. So introduce yourself to us. Who are you?
So I am Yolanda. I am Yolanda Toussaint, author, keynote speaker, lecturer, consultant, and many more.
Wow.
I like to say many more because it saves me giving a whole rigmarole. But you know, if you're blessed to do more than one thing, you should do it.
That's it. But the reason why I really insisted on having you, I love your lives every morning. And I remember one day I was sat
Thank
at my
you.
desk, bound up, I've been as a teacher, so much workload, and you're like, gosh, how am I
Sorry.
going to get through the day? And then here you are coming live, driving, motivating us. I was like, that's so inspiring. I mean, I really feel like you inspiring not just people like me, but I'm sure
Yeah.
everybody. So
Oh,
what made you
bless you.
start this?
Thank you.
That's a pleasure. So what made you start this motivational daily lives? What made you start
Ooh.
it?
The lives are, you know, what used to happen is, or what does happen is I tend to be, I go live in the mornings, myself, very often myself and my youngest son. And we do what we call these good morning things. And we have a whole good morning that we sing. And then we give just a message for the day. We have actually been doing that for over 4 years, I realize now, for over 4 years. And so the lives are sort of, kind of built off that. They were just, it just so happens, you know, we'll go live and we'll just have a little chat so that everyone gets to interact and ask 1 and 2 questions. When we come through in the mornings with our good morning mantras, that's just a video where we get the comments. But when I go live, people get to come to me with those 1 and 2 questions that they don't get to ask me on an ordinary. So that's sort of how the lives came about.
Ask you questions. Like, is it a
Yeah.
book? Is it about, what is it about?
It's very, you know what? It's very, I would actually say it's more about life. So if there's a topic I've addressed or a topic I've currently touched on, people might say, you know, there might be someone who says, oh, what would you do if you were in this situation? Or I'm in this situation and I'm struggling to X, Y, and Z. It gives me an opportunity to kind of give that kind of free advice, support, whatever you want to call it. Do you know what I mean? That people wouldn't ordinarily get from me on a daily basis.
Amazing. So you're an author. What book did you write?
So my first book, I Am Yolanda, A Journey of Hope, that's a memoir. So I have taken a chapter of my life where my now adult children were much younger. And some of the challenges that I went through that I feel are not synonymous with just myself. And I felt like writing about it would enable and empower other women who encountered the same kinds of difficulties. So, you know, it's not an autobiography. I try to always remind people it's just one chapter of my life. There's so much more that isn't in black and white yet. And that's the first book. The second book is Confidence Beneath the Surface. And the second book is more, I wrote that book based on the premise that everyone has of my confidence. And I wanted to kind of explore the work that I've had to do to get to the bottom of my confidence and understand it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that I was giving, predominantly women, I have to be honest, giving the women a chance to ask themselves the same questions and to look at the origins of that confidence and decide if they want to change that story, that chapter. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's the second book. The second book's very much a pocket read.
Nice one. Are you planning to write more?
Oh, definitely, definitely. There's so much more. There is so much more to come.
I feel like you spoke once openly about being a victim of domestic violence. I mean, how
Yes.
do you, first of all, how do you overcome that? And how do you feel so confident speaking openly about that? Because not everyone really likes to admit it. I feel like there's a level of shame. Does that make sense? How
Yes.
do you overcome that and speak about it openly?
I think before you can get to that point of speaking about something comfortably, you have to get comfortable with it yourself. That means you've got to dispel things like that stigma and that shame that accompany these things, you know. Where did those voices come from? Who is it that makes you feel ashamed? And what is it you think you should be ashamed of? You know, I've had to go through a whole process of healing. A large number of it has been self-healing, if I'm honest with you. And that just stems from the back of refusing to be what
Yeah.
was, refusing for that to just be like, that's not my
Mm.
story. You know, it's a moment, you know, it's even a chapter if you wish, but that is not my story in its entirety. So I think that level of determination led me to a lot of self-healing. And then in addition, I have to be honest and say, you know, you have to seek externally as well. Um, I think that a combination can really work wonders for us. So for me, having even therapy, counseling, things like that, it helps you to get where you
That's
are.
amazing.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not one of those things you can talk about and expect to get the healing on the job. It's not that. You've got to get that healing in there
I mean,
first.
first of all, I'm gonna, state the obvious. You are such a gorgeous person. I don't understand how can anybody do that to you. You're so wonderful inside out. I'm like, you know
Bless you.
what? You deserve better, and I'm sure you have your kids to remind you every day what a wonderful person you are. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
thank you.
very privileged to have you, to have somebody so inspiring. I mean, what do your children say about you? I mean, after everything they do.
I have no idea what they say behind my back, but I do get the impression that they're proud. And I get the impression that they trust me
Good.
because they come to me when need be. Um, you know, and they're grown now. So,
Yeah.
you know, they don't necessarily come to me for everything. But I think the things that they do come to me for speak volumes for who we are
Good.
as a family. So, yeah,
So if your
I'm going to
kids are
say I think
watching,
that they're proud.
that's
And
amazing.
they're definitely
That's
supportive.
fantastic.
Definitely supportive.
Oh, keep it up, kids. If you're watching, you have a wonderful mom. You have a beautiful mom, an inspiring mom.
Thank you.
Please treasure that, because it's not every day you have parents like yourself that just go out there,
Oh,
out of the
bless you.
way to do all of the things. So you were modeling some jewelry recently. Talk to me about that. I love
Yeah.
the pictures.
𝐬𝐨𝐜𝐿ine Jewelers. So if you're not following them, please do follow them. 𝐬𝐈𝐿ine Limited. So 𝐬𝐈𝐿ine Jewelers are a small jewelry brand, and I have been the brand ambassador since they started. So it just so happens when they're doing the advertising campaigns and stuff, you'll sort of see me pop up here and there as brand ambassador. I'm wearing the
Oh,
jewelry now. These are the earrings. What am I wearing on my neck? Ah, this is my necklace.
that's beautiful.
I call this one a wing and a prayer. Yeah.
Good.
So it's 𝐬𝐈𝐿ine Jewelers. I absolutely love their jewelry. And very often when you see me all dolled up in my gold or silver, it's 𝐬𝐈𝐿ine.
Yeah. That's lovely. I like that you have style sense and everything. Fantastic. So you're a teacher as well? No, a lecturer, you said. You're a lecturer?
I am, yes.
Yeah.
I am.
So I need to ask you this
Yeah.
question. How do you manage to balance your author's life, mom and a lecturer and other things? How do you manage to balance all of that?
Honestly, my systems currently, I think they're all up in the air. I think that I am, you know, just floating by. Ordinarily, I'd like to say I've got strategy. I try to get most of my stuff out. You'll notice I'm a morning person in the
Yeah.
morning,
Yeah.
and because in the evening I just like to
Good.
have me time. I just want to be me. I don't want them to bother. I don't want to be bothered. If I want to watch rubbish on TV, I want to do that peacefully. You know, I'm that person. So in the morning is when I try to get the most things done. But in general, to be honest with you, I run an autopilot very often. So I do not have the cure. I do not think I'm the epitome of organized. Literally, I think I run an autopilot. There are things that need to do. I'm very much lastminute.com, which isn't something I should be proud of, but it's a fact. I'm
Mm.
lastminute.com because I very often can pull things off and it's really bad.
No,
So don't do that.
I don't think it is bad. I mean, the fact that you accomplished so much at the end of the day, you've done much more than I'm sure you expected yourself. So,
Yeah,
there's certain things we're not perfect. At least you get things done. That's how I see
I do.
it.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, you're right in a
I
sense,
do.
like for young people watching, well, try to be organized, but at the same time, the aim is to get it done, you know? Because you are very
Definitely. And
organized.
I used to be a perfectionist, Thelma. I used to be a perfectionist. I used to, so the things that should have taken me less time used to take me so much more time because I was striving for this unrealistic perfection. Now I'm a recovering perfectionist. You know, I'm striving for completion before perfection. Because what is perfection and how attainable is it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I see things as well. And that
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah, I think it does. You know, I can see that in what everything that you do. I've been following you for months and months. I like that. Everything
Oh,
is on
thank you.
point. I feel like you are in the moment person. I don't know how to explain it. But whenever you
Yeah,
do a live, I don't feel like it's planned. It's like, you know what? I'm going with the flow, whatever the viewers want and things. So I love that. I love that you go live with
thank you.
people, you know, maybe people that you don't know. So people that you catch
I
up with, they're like,
I
oh,
love it. I absolutely love it. I do. I love it. And you know what? I always look at things as it's another opportunity to share. Do you know what I mean? And for me, purpose-wise, my purpose is to take everything that I've learned and to put it out there so others don't have to experience and go through what I went through to get that lesson. You can just take the lesson from me. It's a shortcut,
yeah,
you know, and if that's your purpose, what you find is that you take more opportunities to be heard.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? And so I think that's probably what you see from me. It's just more opportunities to reach the many.
Mm-hmm. I've got two more questions for you. Do you do?
Go for it.
Thank you. You do public speaking, right? So
I do.
where have you been speaking? Like, do you go to schools or do you go wherever people invite you to go?
Wherever people invite me to go sounds more like it. Schools, colleges, universities. I've done consultancy for the local authorities, so I've gone in and trained social workers on diversity. The work I do is quite broad. It's
Mm,
definitely quite broad. And it comes, I think I'd like to think it all comes back to the same thing, but yeah, it's quite broad.
that's fantastic. We need my school needs to invite you. I don't know if you know the the area is called 𝐬𝐸𝐿𝐸. I work in area.
Okay, yeah, I know around there.
Oh, fantastic.
That's
So
southeast, right?
yes, Southeast, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you live, I mean, I hope it's not too far away.
I live nowhere near there, but I do know
Ah,
southeast.
perfect. So we need to find a way. You must
Yeah,
come to our school because I'm sure a lot of young girls and young boys, no matter, they will be inspired by somebody like you. You have children, you were young before, you can, raise awareness. That's what I love.
yeah.
That. And I want to say a big
Thank
thank you
you.
before asking my last question. A big, big thank you for everything that you're doing and also for your time for
Thank
coming to my podcast.
you.
It means a lot to me. But what advice would you give, to young people? What would be the one piece of advice you would give to young people,
Hmm.
or maybe
I
three
think for
advices?
me in this day and age, my advice would be to love yourself the way you want someone else to love you. Because I always say to my students, when I was younger, we didn't have the internet. There was no such thing. And I do think that that helped us in our, evolving, right? Now they are living in a time and era where, getting likes, being noticed, being popular, and all of that kind of things feeds the ego and allows that to be the reason you feel good about yourself.
Mm,
So my advice would be learning to love yourself the way you want others to love you. Because when you master that, and it took me a long time, but when you master that, the way that everyone else loves you is a bonus. It's not the be all and end all. And, I don't want young people to think that all those likes on social media and, ratings and all of that stuff they get on socials means anything. It has nothing to do with anything. It's so much more important what you think of yourself. So much more.
you're totally right. Self-love, yes, is the most important thing. You're totally right. Because if you don't love yourself, who will? That's the big.
That's it.
It's such a very important advice, and also well-being, because it's all about loving yourself so that you can have a stability in your life as well. So that's very important advice for young people, and I wish
Yeah.
more of them can listen to that. It's not about social media, how many likes you have. That that's not real. It's virtual. It's not real. You're totally right.
No.
Thank you so much for your advice,
You're welcome.
for your time, for Please carry on what you're doing. I'm a massive fan, and I'm so happy that you took time to talk to me. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you, Thelma.
Thank you.
Thank
Pleasure.
you. Take care. It was my pleasure.
Take care, you
Have a
too.
lovely
Thank you.
evening.
You too. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.